Good morning and welcome to Always in Stitches, and today we are going to be doing Kimberbell's Garden Guild. And the first project that we are going to do is this Wet My Plants mat. And this is a really cute, simple, quick project that you could put under a potted plant, put a plastic water catcher under it so that you don't soak your mat if you do that with it. This would make a great Mother's Day gift with a small potted plant if you're looking for something like that. So today we are going to get started on this, and it's a quick, fun project with some bright, cheery colors that are really going to come in handy with these dark, dreary days that we have had. So I've already loaded my hoop with the water-soluble stabilizer, and I have white thread in my machine. And we're going to start out with the first stitching, which is going to be the placement line for the foam. Now, in your kit, the only 3 pieces of fabric you're going to have are your 2 pieces for your front and your back and your foam. So this tells you it's a really quick, fast project. So this is going to be step 1 on your machine and step 3 in your book. So hopefully my machine's going to behave itself today. Okay, and what it's going to do, it's going to stitch, it's going to unthread itself, and then it's going to stitch maybe. Some days I think my machine does not like traveling out of its sewing room.
It's a passive-aggressive embroidery machine.
I think it is, because it takes a couple go-arounds until we convince it that it's okay to sew here. This is where you came from, so it's okay. All right, we're going to try this one again. All right, I'm going to check my threading because something just is not right. Like I said, she can be very temperamental. I don't think I named her. Maybe that's the problem.
Oh.
She feels like an orphan. So if any of you guys have an idea for a name for my embroidery machine, submit it here and we'll see if we can make this happen. Maybe that's her problem. And my other machine, her name is Scarlet.
From
Gone with the Wind.
In one of the videos we did, we called it a blooper reel, but we named that machine Maria. It was giving us all sorts of problems.
From West Side, from Sound of Music.
Uh-huh.
How do you solve a problem like Maria? All right, we're going to try this 3rd time's a charm, I promise. Clip some threads here so we don't snag up anything. And it's just going to stitch the scallop outside so you kind of get an idea of what your project is going to look like. It is pulling my stitches out. Okay, she is going to be a problem child. Maybe her name needs to be Maria also. We've got a bunch of extra threads down here that we don't need. As I have told you in my other videos, if it's going to go wrong, it will go wrong here when I'm trying to show you how to do these projects. But that's okay. You know my machine's only human. All right, so I've lost my stitches here because it pulled them out. So I don't think I can go back. So I will know that's my beginning placement. So we'll just keep on going. I said this was a quick project, only if your machine cooperates. All right. So we've got our placement line stitch. Now we're going to take our foam. There's not a right or wrong side. It's just a nice squishy foam. We're going to slide it under and make sure we cover all of our stitches. And you're going to use your tape to tape this down. You might need a little extra because this foam is actually pretty thick. So you want to get it taped down really good because this you do not want shifting while you're stitching it. So I'm going to tape all four sides. You can see these projects made up here in the shop in the Kimberbell area. And I guarantee you at home I did not have this much trouble. Okay, so we have our foam all taped down. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And that's step 4 in your book. So we're going to move to step 5, and we're going to do the foam tack down line, which it's going to go back around like it did for the placement line. So this will be step 2 on your machine. Look at that nice little puffiness it's creating there. Okay, it's going to go around this twice so it can get a good stitch down on here because we're going to be doing a lot of stitching on top of it. And then our next step, once this is done, we're going to remove our tape and we're going to trim around the stitches. And as I have always said, trim close to your stitches, but do not cut your stitches. And I believe you can purchase additional foam for this. They've also used, I think it's the Bozal. We have a foam that they use in purses a lot to make them kind of squishy. You could use that also. Okay, so we're going to take our hoop out. We're going to remove our tape. Don't be afraid to use lots of tape. They give you plenty. And this may seem a little awkward when you're trying to get in and around all the little, and you do have to be careful because this is real easy to get too close and to clip your stitches. But you want to be sure you don't do that. And there will be a finishing stitch, satin stitch around the outside, so any foam that you might have that's a little extra, you can trim off if it happens to be showing beyond your decorative stitching. So don't be afraid to just leave a little bit of space. There's a little tip right there that I may want to trim off after I'm all finished. And you will need to dissolve the stabilizer when you're finished in cold water, because your background is white fabric, but your thread on the outer edge is red, and we all know what red likes to do. So we're hoping that our thread is not going to bleed, which I don't think it will. At least I've not had a problem with it. But just to be extra careful, make sure your water is cold. And this time of year, I don't think it's a problem to get your water cold. Just about done.
Looks like a pie crust.
It does. My pie crusts don't look this good.
Neither do mine.
Although I don't know that I've ever made a pie crust, so maybe I should aspire to do that.
Oh,
Make it look perfectly scalloped.
There is nothing more rewarding than a homemade pie crust.
Yeah, my mom, I don't think, ever made homemade pie crust, so she never taught me, and my grandparents were gone before I got old enough to be baking like that, so I didn't learn. So there we go. We've got this all trimmed out, and I wouldn't be too concerned about the extra, like I said, until after the last stitch out. So that's basically the shape of your mat. So then we're going to take one of our, oh, no we're not. We're going to stitch the placement line for our fabric, which is not going to be too far off of what we've already done. So this is step 3 on your machine, and it will be step 7 in your book. It's just going to go just on the outside of our foam. So that'll kind of give you an idea if you've trimmed it up well enough. If none of your foam extends past the stitching placement line, which it looks like I'm okay. Oops. Okay. I can tell we're going to have fun with our machine today. But Peter, what would it be if my machine was not being cantankerous? It wouldn't be a video.
It would be a dream.
Well, yeah, it would be that. You're right. Okay. Check. Make sure I don't have any extra bobbin thread going on here. I hope everybody has better luck with a non-cantankerous machine than I'm having. And you know what it may be? I'm not using my Robeson Anton.
I noticed that. I was going to ask you about your thread.
Well, when I did Boulevard, I used up all my white. And so I just grabbed a white that I had at home and thought, oh, this will be fine. Maybe not so much. So there's a lesson to everybody. Use the good thread. I'm not sure which brand that is, but all right, we're gonna go, now that we have our stitch line on the outside here, make sure your black polka dots are face up. That's what it looks like on the back. They're kind of dull. You want the bright, perky little polka dots. And you're gonna place that over the foam. Make sure you've got it good and even around the edges. And then you're gonna use your paper tape again. We're gonna tape this down. Make sure you don't tape your thread down. Keep it out of the way. Which I believe I have done that. That does not make it happy. Okay, so we have our fabric all taped down and ready to go. So we are now going to stitch our tack down line, and you are not going to trim around the outside when it is finished. So this is step 4 on your machine and step 9 in your book. So now we have a nice little puffy, there's the top of your pie, Peter.
Yeah.
What's inside your pie crust?
Well, this time of year, I'd probably do blueberry.
Ooh.
I use frozen blueberry or the tart cherry, the sour cherries. Sour cherry pie.
I have some frozen blueberries from Michigan in my freezer. I think I have some cherries off my tree at home in the freezer also.
I am jealous.
Yeah, I think it's not happy. My tree's not happy this year because the cherries keep getting smaller and smaller. So I just let the birds have them. But there were a couple years I had some really good-sized cherries. So my daughters and I sat out on the patio and pitted them, and we had cherry juice all down our arms. It was a pretty little scene there, but we got them done. We have to find those because, you know, February is the month of cherry pie. Okay. Now you have that all tacked down. And I'm going to clip my extra thread. So now at this point, you're going to change your thread to a green. And you can go with any color green if you like a primary green. I'm using this kind of dark mossy green, which I think is really pretty. So hopefully she'll like this thread. It's Gutermann. But we'll see. Don't take your white thread too far away because we're going to need that for a quilting motif that it does in the center that's really pretty. Sad thing is your plant's going to be sitting on top of it, but that's okay. You can use a primary green, a Kelly green, whatever green you like to have. So this is going to be the green kind of garland at the, not quite the center, but right around the center. So this will be step 10 in your book and step 5 on your machine. Okay, she's not liking that. I think she's just having a moment today. Okay, I always like to make sure these little tails are clipped off. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I think everything's good. Yeah, looky there. We have a nest. This is what's called nesting. And what I may do is just back up because see, when I trim that off, I lose my stitches. So none of these are really good stitches, so I'm going to just pop them all out very carefully because I don't want to cut through my stabilizer. Okay, see, none of those stitches are good. So you want to go ahead and take those out. Okay, those are in there pretty tight. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave those. And we'll back the machine up to the very beginning. So we'll give her one more chance to behave herself. All right, so we're going to back up here. And if things like this happen, you can always back your machine up. I'm going to go back until it switches back to step 4. Okay, so it's on step 4. I needed to go to step 5, so I'm just going to increase that one step, and it's going to take me back to where I need to be. Okay. Cross your fingers. See, I don't even think that started in the correct spot. That was a really bad noise. We have got something going on here. Looky there, there's a white thread that certainly does not belong in there.
Oh, there's the culprit.
Okay, so at this point we need to take this off.
Time to do operation.
Oh, no kidding. Good thing Jeff might be here today.
We'll have to page him.
Oh, no kidding. Jeff, to the studio. It's amazing how something as simple as just that one little thread is going to mess everything up. There it is.
Can't see where it's stuck in. It's stuck in the between the oscillating.
That's all it is.
Whoa. Look at that.
Yeah, so we can see how clean or dirty my machine is right now. All right, so let's put it all back together and hope that was the only problem. That's why it's always good to have all your tools that you need nearby. You never know what you're going to need when. So when we're able to do a lot more classes in the store, when you come, bring all your supplies, and because we can help you out, but if you have a machine that we don't have things for, that would be a problem. But I think most screwdrivers would be universal. Okay, I think I'm going to leave those stitches in. The back's okay. Let's hope that took care of it. And this is going to look kind of funny, so you're going to think, is this right? But I think it is. It's just doing the little like branches of the plant. Nope, this is not right. Okay. You may want to turn it after we pull that out.
Live.
Well, welcome back. She's all fixed now. We hope not to have any more issues with her. They said that there's a rod in the arm of the embroidery machine that needed a little lube put on it. So hopefully that's going to take care of it and we won't have any more problems. So we are back to where we were. Step 10, we're going to do the little vine leafy part here, the stem detail. So it's going to be step 10 in the book and step 5 on your machine. And you have green thread in here. Cross your fingers. Here we go.
Fire it up.
This looks better already.
Sounds really good.
Yes, it does. Moving nice and smooth. That just kind of brings me to the point that you always want to have your machines checked out, and just like you going to the doctor, you need a checkup, so do your machines. Changing your needles, using good quality threads, and just making sure that everything's in good running order, and if you have a problem with it, that just re-threading and things like that don't help. Bring it in and let Paige or Jeff take a look at it. And thanks, Paige, for taking care of me today. We really appreciate it. So yeah, this is, it's okay. We had all kinds of speculation going as far as why it was acting up, that maybe she didn't want a name, maybe she just didn't like being out of my sewing room. I'm not sure what it was, but she's working now. See, we're getting puffies. When all this is done, it looks so cool. You've got your flat areas where the stitching is, and then you've got the puffiness all around it. So while it's finishing up here, you're going to change your thread to red. And again, you don't have to use the same thread colors that they use. If you maybe want pink flowers or if you want blue flowers, that's all up to you. But if you want it to look like their picture or how they're doing it, then you would just follow with their basic color scheme. So we're just going to change over to red. And I think we're done with the green. I don't think you're going to need that again. So we had a visitor.
They were checking out my favorite color is Moda.
Yeah.
Because we're in Studio B at Always in Stitches.
Or should it be Studio M for Moda?
Yes, Studio M. Studio E, though, for embroidery.
Right. So it's an ever-evolving studio. All right, so once you have got your red thread in there, this is going to do the little red flowers on it. So we will be on step 11 in your book, and you can kind of get an idea of what the little flowers are going to look like. And this will be step 6 on your machine. So here we go. Oh, it's okay.
Did we get the low light?
No, I got your bobbin thread may not be adequate, which I'm pretty sure it will be fine. See, it does these just cute little 3-petaled flowers. it's going to have your jump stitches in there, which you can clip with this fancy little side hopper. Once it gets further down, I'll go in and clip some of those off. I didn't think that these would be necessary when they first came in, and I waited a while, and then once I really got going into the embroidery, it's like, yeah, that might be rather helpful. So just go in and clip real close to your stitches, and especially when you have that jump stitch between letters. We're going to be stitching some phrasing on here, and there'll be some jump stitches in there that we will want to clip. Okay, we've got all of our flowers stitched up now, and they look nice and red and pretty. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stitch the little yellow centers for the flowers. So you're going to want to change your threads to a yellow. And it can be just any kind of a yellow that will coordinate with your flowers. If you're looking for a softer look, you can use like a butter color yellow or whatever you decided to do with yours. I'm using a brighter yellow. I want mine happy. Not that yours wouldn't be happy if you chose another color, but I call myself a color junkie, that I just have to have lots of bright colors.
How many spools of embroidery thread do you think you have in your studio at home?
Oh, you wouldn't want to know. I have Robison Anton. I have another set that we had here in the shop for a little while that came with matching bobbins. I don't remember what brand that is, but there was probably lots of colors in there. I have some Gutermann. I have some Sulky. I think I have a little bit of everything and a whole lot of nothing. No. I probably have at least 3 of those cases that you can get at Joann's that will accommodate the small Gutermann. I have 3 of those completely filled. And one of the racks that hangs on sits or hangs on a pegboard, it's full. See, I have thread. Okay, so we are going to move on to step 12 in your book, and this is going to be step 7, and it's going to do the flower detail, the little yellow spot in the middle. So here we go. You barely get started before it's time to move on to the next one. But look at that little pop of yellow, what it does. Okay, so we have all of the centers on our flowers, and now we're going to change our thread to blue because we're going to do the phrase that's going to go on around here, and that phrase says, I'm so excited I wet my plants. So if you're a gardener, you could relate, but that's just a funny saying. I know Allisonville Nursery will have that out on their sign.
The place is so beautiful.
In spring. And that's a great place to go to because we went out there because I want to re-landscape the front of my house. And I want to do the work, but I don't know. I know what I don't want, but figuring out what I do want and what will work best, we went out and talked to them, and they've got a great landscape architect that will draw up plans for you, and then you can choose your plants from wherever and get it all installed. So that's my project for the spring, along with the rose bed and the vegetable garden and the perennial bed and the lily bed, and oh, I've got a lot of work to do. do. But I'll keep on sewing.
Nothing's more rewarding than a fresh cut rose.
That's right, especially when they grow like they're supposed to. All right, so here we go. If you can see your tack down line for your top fabric, the phrase is going to run right in between there and the little flower garden. So here we go. This will be step 15. Is it 15? Nope. Yep. Oop. Step 13 in the book and step 8 on your machine. Okay.
Did we get a low fuel light?
I did, and she's not going to let me get past it this time. Ugh. Okay, so sadly, I lose my bobbin. Are you still recording?
Yeah.
All right, so we have added fuel or bobbin thread, and we are ready to go with our phrases. Hopefully she won't argue with me this time. I'm always curious how they're gonna make the words in the embroidery. My brain goes there sometimes. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of jump stitches in here that once everything's done, you'll want to go through and clip those and make sure they're not in there. So there's the word I'm. And it's going to do it on this half, and then it'll go over and do it on the back half. There's the word sew. Peter, do you have any houseplants at home?
I don't have any houseplants, surprisingly.
I used to have a lot of them. I used to have them in every single room. And I seem to be the one that everybody brought their plants they didn't want anymore. So I had a hodgepodge of a little bit of everything.
I used to bring in my rosemary from the garden. I'd put it in a pot and bring it indoors. And I did that for about 4 years. And I had almost, it got so big I could have put ornaments on it for Christmas.
Oh my goodness, that's huge.
And then one time I had ordered a lemon tree, which the lemon tree was my absolute favorite because we have a really sunny window. I'd put it in the window and it would blossom and it would smell so amazing when it would flower. But it died, so. But I haven't ordered anything for indoors since that.
My daughter gave me a peace lily. It's in a big pot and it needs to be repotted. So I just need to go find, it hasn't bloomed since I got it, so I know it needs to be repotted. So I just need to go and find a good pot for it.
There's that poinsettia that we got from.
Yeah, you said you were gonna take it home.
From the customer.
Pretty bad.
I think I'm taking it home today, and I'm gonna put it in a sunny window and water it because I love that poinsettia.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
Clip back or pull out all the leaves and petals that have dropped and clean that up and make it happy. Okay, it's about done with this phrase. I wet my plants.
I hope they ran that through spell check on every disc before they shipped it out.
No kidding.
Autocorrect can be a real bear.
Yes, it can be. It can change the meaning of what you want to say big time. All right, for our next step, we are going to put our back fabric on. Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am fine.
What you doing?
Well, we're doing the Garden Guild, and this is the plant mat. I'm so excited I wet my plants.
Oh, that's cute. I like that one.
Cute. Hey, so when are you going to do this?
Saturday, February 20th is the class.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I am too, to get back into
no
this.
Kidding.
Yeah.
You got a couple gals that are going to be in here, social distance, far apart, masks on. And we've got a couple that are doing it virtual. That's why we're doing these videos.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Everybody who might be in Florida, those snowbirds we have, and then those
they want to do it.
Just still want to stay close to home, they can.
And the 3 projects are cute.
They are cute and they're quick, unless your machine messes up like mine did today.
That happens. Or you haven't made, because I haven't made one of those little bags.
You'll have to watch my video.
I'll have to watch your video on that one. Since when I read the directions, I was reading them backwards.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
That's fine. Yeah. So we're almost done.
Yay.
So we're excited. We got 2-3 more steps to go.
So you're putting the back, you said you were putting the backing on?
We're going to put our back fabric on. So while Deborah's here, she can learn. You're just going to lay your back fabric. You're going to take your hoop out and turn it over. You're going to lay your back fabric over the back of your embroidery work. You're going to take your friendly little paper tape. I love this paper tape.
Mm-hmm.
We had one of our employees use it like a Band-Aid one day.
It works.
It worked. It's like it didn't stick to her skin. It was a sensitive surgery site, so she needed something to hold the gauze down, so she put this on it, and she did just fine with it. So see, there's multi-uses for Kimberbell projects.
Yes, there is.
Did you see the new Kimberbell department, Deborah?
Yes, I have. It's been rearranged very
Yeah.
nicely. You did move the material, though.
I did.
The material's out, it's up front where the solids are.
Yeah, we did that so we could have some more room
gotta have
to
room.
display the other stuff, so it worked out really
Yeah.
well. All right, so do you mind if we keep going?
No, go
Okay.
right ahead.
All right, so
I'll watch.
okay, watch and learn. We just did step 14, which was putting the backing fabric on and taping it down. So we're going to do step 15 in your book and step 9 in the machine. And I switched over to white thread. They tell you that because we're going to do the tack down and then we're going to do the center motif. Here we go.
You get tired of changing thread all the time. You can do 2 steps with one type of colored thread. That's one.
Yeah.
What did I say I timed you at? Because I was timing your fastest.
Oh. I don't remember.
I can't remember if it was 30 seconds or it was a minute.
I was thinking 30 seconds.
One time she just got it in there real fast.
This is just going back around the scallop that we had on the top. It's going to attach the fabric that's on the bottom. I'm not sure if it goes through it twice or not. That it's going around again.
Well, that just holds it.
We gotta make sure it's all in there because we're gonna be doing a satin stitch around the outside, which will be really nice.
Oh, then you get to cut. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, you had to cut the foam around the scallop. So, and my favorite phrase is cut close to your stitches, but don't cut your stitches.
I've done that though.
Oh, I have too.
But the satin stitch covers it up, so.
As long as the whole project doesn't
It doesn't
explode on you.
fall apart, but.
Well, I know everybody's excited that you're back.
I'm excited.
They
to be
missed
back.
you. I missed you too.
I missed you guys. It's no fun just sitting in a chair.
No. Okay, so we have that done. And it has now moved to the center, which you're going to move on to step 16 in your book. You're going to stay with the white thread, and this will be step 10 on your machine. And it's going to do this really cool little quilting motif in the center.
Is this the big one or the little?
This is the small one. This is a 6x6.
There's another size.
Yeah, there's a 8 by 8 by 8. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, there's an 8 by 8.
But for the class, it's this size.
This size, yeah. It's just like the one out there in Kimberbell, our sample. Isn't that fun?
It's amazing how they can program this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they have new quilting designs out for the Easter bench buddy pillow. It's got carrots and Easter eggs and all kinds of fun stuff in it.
That would be cute.
Okay, now that we've got that done, Peter, can you get a good shot of that center part? Isn't that cool?
Just a pretty center.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so now, at this point, once we've stitched all that, we are going to turn our hoop back over. Don't take it out of your hoop, just flip it over. You want to go ahead and take off your tape and fabric. Then you're going to trim the scallops. And my favorite saying, once again,
Trim fabric close to the stitch lines,
But-
don't cut your stitches.
and don't cut your stabilizer underneath.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Well, but I know when my son runs marathons, he's going for good time too, so that he can sprint at the end.
How do you like those ducktail scissors?
I love them. I resisted buying them, and then when I really started doing a lot of these, I thought, you know, it's kind of hard to turn your hands sideways, and
Yeah.
it just was not comfortable.
Have you used them yet, Deborah?
Yes, I have. I had to get used to them.
Yeah, we've got these.
I've got the Kimberbell.
I'm used to the ones with the spring in them. That's the only pair I've used.
They're really neat. They get you close, but you don't cut your stitches, maybe, kinda.
If you're paying
Could you
attention.
cut your stitches if you tried?
Oh, yeah. Like, see right there? I got really close, and if I'd moved over just a little more, I could have clipped that. We also have, these are the Tula Pink ones. Deborah has the Kimberbell ones. OESD.
Oh, that's right, you bought that kit. The Kimberbell scissor kit.
Yeah, OESD also has a scissor kit. I think we have one out there on the floor,
Yeah,
and
it has
they,
a ducktail.
theirs are bigger, I
I
believe.
think Kimberbell's looks a little bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe not too much, but
So Deborah, did you see the Main Street Celebration bench pillow?
yes, I did.
It is so pretty.
And you said there's quilting for that too.
Yes, there is.
That Kimberbell's come up with. I haven't made that yet.
All right, so we've got the back trimmed up, just like it says. Then you're going to turn it over. You're back to the front. You're going to take off your tape and threads of your fabric.
That blue is pretty.
Yeah, Peter was saying that earlier. It's a
bright.
it's called bright blue or royal blue.
But it's pretty with
Color
the green and the red.
5520.
Robeson Anton. I think we've got some of this up there.
Color 5520. Whatever
And you
color
get
that
to
is.
do it again.
I do. You know, this is 3 times now. Do you think I'll have it down?
Sure.
Maybe I could sprint.
Well, I'd be careful.
Haste
You don't
makes
want to
waste.
cut those stitches.
I know, cut close to your stitches, but don't cut your stitches. Well, my foam is under there, so, and there's probably like 3 or 4 runs of stitches around here. So it's going to be a little hard to get in there and cut them to make any damage.
Do we have the foam? Kimberbell
No,
foam?
not the Kimberbell foam, but we could use the Bozal
Yeah.
that they use in the handbags. That would work for this. So if you could, again, Kimberbell is very
User-friendly.
user-friendly. I mean, you can cross over. Got some more tape in there. Other products work just as well. If you want to use up something, if you've got leftovers from a bag you made and you've got the Bozal, go ahead and use that if you want to make more than one. So it's, once you get done with an event, you can use that design over and over and over. And you know what's cool about this kit, Deborah?
What?
It doesn't come with a CD. It comes
doesn't.
with a flash drive already loaded.
And it's a fancy flash drive.
It is.
They must be going to do that now with all
Yeah.
their, well, that'll make it a lot easier for classes because we
Oh,
don't
no
have
kidding.
to put it on a thumb drive.
That's right, and it's got all the different formats on it, and you just pop it in and
good.
go.
They took somebody's suggestion.
Yeah, and that was a very good suggestion.
Was it your suggestion, Deborah?
No,
Not this time.
but it was a good one because it took a while to put you'd have to wait till your student came in and what machine they had, and then put that on the thumb drive.
Oh, wow.
So it took
And
some
so
time.
this way that eliminates that.
Well, I think they were test marketing when they did curated, and
Yeah, that one they
there
did.
was that the only
I
other
think
one?
that's the only one.
So I think that was probably their test run to see. Okay, what do you think, Peter? Are we going to get the low fuel?
Let me see. Which one?
I think I'm going to use this one.
That's the one that you're going to get the warning light.
You think?
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
Just after a couple
We shut
stitches.
it off.
Oh, that's no fun.
Is there a hack or something that I don't know?
I like to show them all the mistakes that they can make. I think I've made them all.
Our machine even did a pit stop.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's
it
good.
had to go back to the garage. The mechanics had to look at it.
Oh, well, it's just getting ready for NASCAR for Sunday.
Yeah. My husband's been watching. He watched one of the races the other night, and I went down to spend time with him, and I'm like, oh, NASCAR's on. He goes, well, you can still sit with me, and I'm like, yay.
Oh, you gotta watch NASCAR. It's so much fun.
No, it's not. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to move to step 19 in your book and step 11 on your machine. And you'll notice it's the last step. So it's going to go through and do the satin stitch all around on the outside, and this is going to cover up all of our nonsense around there. So here we go.
Fire it up. Start your engines.
What is it that they say when they, after NASCAR drops the flag and they go, is it rev it up? No, that's not it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I
Yeah, it's
can't
where you're
think of
supposed
We need to call
crank
your
it up.
husband, Nancy.
Yeah, he would know in a heartbeat.
Where's your phone?
Oh, I got the warning light.
Oh, I knew it.
Can I talk her out of it? Yes. But he always turns up the surround sound, so it sounds like these
Like
cars
you're right there.
are going through your living room. It's like, ah.
That's different.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think it. If I remember, it's gonna do each scallop.
Oh,
So it does each scallop completely and then moves
Yeah,
to the next
uh-huh.
one.
Yeah.
As
That's
opposed to
different,
going
too.
over and over and over and over.
because usually it'll do like maybe half of it.
Right.
Or a little succulent.
No, that's not succulentish.
Yeah.
It's more
The little one I had was
shamrocks.
Oh, shamrocks. I like
Yeah.
that.
All right. So we have
Pansies.
our border all the way
Pansies are
done.
nice.
And next step is to take the project out of the hoop.
I would put a basil plant on it.
Oh, you could do that too. You could put any small.
You need it small. So
You could
see
fit
the
a whole. You could fit an entire gnome garden on this.
Okay, so if you'll notice around your edging here, you could kind of even just pop this out by hand because it did so many stitches on your stabilizer, it perforated it. So there we go. And Deborah reminded me that you'll see you've got some of the stabilizer still there that got trapped in the stitches, and that's where you want to dip it in the cool water, soak it in the cool water
Take a Q-tip.
to get those out. But then if you look, there's some spots where you see a little bit of white where the threads weren't there. If you just get a red Sharpie marker and very carefully just go over that white part, you won't see those at all. So there you go. There is your I wet my plants plant mat. So enjoy making this, have fun, make small ones, make big ones, make them all different colors, just have fun with it. So
Very good. Very
thanks,
good.
Deborah.